Welcome to my channel. So today's discussion point has to do with the ethics of permaculture and fundamentally what that means as an individual, myself, and how I apply it. So the ethics of permaculture are earth care, people care, and limits to consumption or fair share or return of surplus, however you want to describe that last one. Returning any surplus that we get from taking care of the earth and taking care of the people, we return back to the earth and to the people. And what that fundamentally means is that without an earth, we're all dead. Without more people, basically we can't survive. And any potential excess that we create from dealing with those two things, we return to those two things. And sometimes that's difficult to figure out. But it's basically simple. So I'm going to give an example right now. I am out of the United States of America, and my situation is interesting because it could be better, it could be worse. In my situation, I take my profit and I try and convert it back into systems for helping myself and helping my people and helping the planet. Recently, we went through our Thanksgiving cycle. And before that, we went through Halloween. We went through our Halloween cycle. We had this massive surplus of pumpkins. So I went and collected pumpkins inexpensively. Well, compared to purchasing the pumpkins before Halloween, I spent about $48 on pumpkins twice. So that's about $96 in cost. And in that $96 in cost, I got 10,000 seeds roughly back. So I got the pumpkin mass and I got the seeds. Now, let me break down the number of pumpkins roughly, and then I'll break down the reason I got so many seeds. So I bought 2 sets of 24 pumpkins, and I had a few others, maybe another 10 pumpkins, but basically the 2 sets of 24 is what we're talking about. So that's 48 pumpkins. And every pound of seeds that I got was roughly 1,300 seeds. And out of, 24 pumpkins, I was roughly averaging 9 pounds a seed, roughly, give or take, depending on water weight and stuff. So roughly, these are rough numbers. 1,300, times 9 is roughly about 10,000 seeds. It's not perfect. Don't quote me on that math. We're just doing generalities. So if I got 10,000 seeds out of one set, then theoretically I got 10,000 seeds out of another set, and then I got some extra from the other few pumpkins I had. So I roughly had 20,000 seeds, give or take, percentages, because I didn't go 1, 2, 3. I didn't do that. I just roughly guesstimated by weight. So we calculated the number of seeds in an ounce, and then we multiplied that out to a pound, and then we multiplied that out to or divide the number of pounds out to how much it came out to, and it's roughly 1,300 seeds per pound, give or take. So I'm roughly estimating that I got 20,000 seeds, in which case we decided to dry the seeds and then distribute the seeds. Now, luckily I got a 12-acre parcel that I can work on, and I went and distributed 20,000 seeds on that 12 acres. Now that's up in the hills, the Corralitos Mountains range near Santa Cruz in California. A couple of things could happen. One, all the chipmunks and the birds and the deer and the animals in the winter could be snacking on pumpkin seeds and I could get nothing. That's a reality. That's possible, okay? 2, I could get the natural return of 10% in nature, because normally in nature consumes about 90% of anything that gets put out there, from seed to harvest. All the way through, you lose about 90% to nature. That's predation, that's funguses, that's weather events, that's seeds being eaten, that's the plants getting borer weevils, whatever. I should lose 90% in nature of those 20,000 seeds. But if I only got 10% of 20,000, then I get 200 plants or something. And that's 200 plants to full production. 200 plants is more than I can handle. So even if I only got 10%, I'd get way more than I can probably maintain in a yearly cycle. And if everything went really well, then I got more than 10% to completion, to fruition, and I got fruit out of the deal. And I could have unknown numbers at that point of pumpkins, in which case I have to deal with that. That's only one crop. That does not include the potatoes I put out. That does not include the onions, the garlic, the parsnips, the arugula. It doesn't include the other fruits and vegetables that I put in the ground. It doesn't include all the beets, the radishes, the garlic, the onions, all of that. It doesn't include any of that. It's just one crop. Now, if I can get 10% of all my crops going, I could easily feed a small family, which is the goal. The 12 acres, we only have roughly 3 to 4 acres of actual usable land. The rest is covered in poison oak and oak trees and a variety of other scrub brush that is not suitable for gardening. So I may get an acre or two production, and then next year, from this time to next year this time, my production cycle will increase. My production cycle will increase because I'll have put more infrastructure in. In the process, I'll still be taking care of the earth, taking care of the people of the earth, and taking surplus and returning it back to the first two. That should reduce my cost of living, it should improve my standard of living, and it should improve the environment that I live in. I do those three things and we all win. This is the thinking process of permaculture. How you use it and how you deal with it, first we figure out the ethics and then we move forward from there. Once we've got the ethics established, then it comes down to water access structures. Where the water flows. Water flows show you where the access is for walking on the land. Once you have the access and the water flows, you know where to put your structures. Your structures include everything from infrastructure all the way to houses, everything. Once you've figured out those three things, you reduce your cost of maintenance for those structures, whether it's water flows, erosion, tree falls, XYZ. You figure out what you're solving, and as you solve it, it gets better. Permaculture is a very detail-oriented system with a very simple core thinking process. I encourage everyone to go study it. You don't have to use it, but if you study the process, you may gain something beneficial out of it. And this is what we aim and strive to do, is to gain benefit for not just ourselves, but for others, and to continue the process of feeding each other on this planet. Have a great day.